Welcome into this week of Missouri Politics Midweek Update, post-election week. My God, have you just taken a deep breath? I mean, it seems like a year ago was the election, right, Kelton? But it was only a week ago.
Feels like an eternity.
The State Fair week. Love the State Fair. I was there last night. Took Millie. We had the best time. Outstanding State Fair stuff. Big announcement straight off the top of the show. Kelton, this week, Sunday on This Week in Missouri Politics, we are going to have the 57th governor of the great state of Missouri and the Republican nominee to be the 58th governor. We have Mike Parson and Mike Kehoe on the show. Kelton, tell me the truth. Anybody else lining up the governor and the likely next governor on the show?
I highly doubt
I
it.
think it's just us. Number two, go to my Twitter, Facebook feed. You're going to see a wonderful, terrific statement of love by Kelton. Can you flip the Kelton cam on? Look at this. Look at this handsome devil. It was one of my favorite things we've ever done. No. Leave it on. Let it breathe. Let it breathe. One of my favorite things we've ever done was you expressing your love to your wife at the end of the show. It was perfect.
I appreciate it very much.
You want to
Thank
give her
you.
a shout out now?
Oh yes, happy day after your birthday, Maddie. She won't be watching, but I'll show her later.
Yeah, okay. Now, I think Kelton looks more tech savvy with the beard, don't you? I think Kelton, I mean, honestly, Kelton, I want to say this again. I can't say it too many times. Our election night coverage, you were outstanding. You made it. You really did do a hell of a job, and I'm eternally grateful to you.
I appreciate it a lot. I had a good time doing it.
Okay, let's talk about what the promo was. I told you a few weeks ago, right? Remember me telling you the story about, you've heard the fable, right, Kelton, of the man who drowned and he goes to heaven, and what happened was he heard a radio report there was a flood coming. A trooper came by, knocked on a flood coming. He was sitting on his roof. A boat came. He was sitting on his chimney, and a helicopter came, and he kept saying, "John Rehagen, I mean, God will save me." No, John Rehagen, no, I mean, God will save me. And he gets to heaven, and he said, "God, why didn't you save me?" And God said, I sent you a state law slapping you on the wrist. I sent you a news report. I sent you a budget cut to cut your budget the exact amount of the problem. I'm sorry. I sent you a state trooper knocking on the door. I sent you a simple hillbilly. No, I sent you a boat and a helicopter. That's what I was doing to save you. But alas, that was not the case. So actually, and then we heard this very disturbing report. It is extremely disturbing. I'm as disturbed as all of you are that on June 5th there was a DEI conference. A conference to talk about DEI. Essentially, it was an anti-Kelton conference. It was any Kelton. Can you put the Kelton cam up just real quick? Can you look into the camera, please? You're the problem, and anyone that looks like you, everything you do is awful, and we need less of you. That's the major point of DEI. Kelton, do you support the anti-Kelton campaign?
Not in particularly, no.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either if I was Kelton. I mean, damn. Um, so what we have here is I put together a list, right? I decided that and do me a favor. I know we're all going to be at the fair tomorrow night. We're all going to be at the ag dinner. We're going to be at the ham breakfast. And I look, when you watch This Week of Missouri Politics Sunday, don't tell the governor yet. We're going to together figure out which director was there, okay? So do me a favor, everyone. Do not tell the governor yet. That's not what we need the facts. So I decided to come up with a way to play Clue. Have you ever played Clue, Kelton?
A few times.
So what we have here is a list of all the department directors, the weapon they use to screw the state over, DI. So we know the weapon, and then what department they use. So we have the suspect, we have the weapon, and now we have the location of what department. If you'll see here on the clue board, and it says who was at the DI conference on June 5th. So what I decided to do, Kelton, is we would begin one by one contacting departments and Sunshine requesting where the director was on June 5th, right, Kelton?
That's the plan.
Okay, so the first one I could tell, and let me just tell you, the first one that guesses it right. So I got, speaking of election night coverage, John Combes has a new book. Who came in? It's the same book. It's just got a cool cover. So I have this other book. Is it signed by John? No, I'll get it signed by John to the winner. So I have the new cover here that's going to be displayed behind me for the show. But I have the old cover here. Uh, right here is the old. This is the. I guess we could say this is the first edition, right, Kelton?
Yes.
So I am going to get John Combest. Whoever can guess. So you can see all. You can go to my Facebook or Twitter, and you'll see the board, and you'll see us mark it off. The first person that texts me at 573-429-5770 and guesses which department director with that. I mean, and honestly, right now, Clue's tough. You ever played Clue? Because we give you the weapon, so you're a third of the way there. So I'm going to scratch off the first one, but whoever the winner is going to get a first edition of John Combest's book, and I'm going to see if he'll I can't guarantee you, but I think he might personally sign this for you, and I might even, if you can guess it, if somebody guesses it today, I will get you a signed. I can't promise you because he's a little prickly these days. But I think I can get you a signed Real Farmers for Huff. So first of all, Kelton, we have all the departments listed here, correct? You've checked these yourself.
Correct, yes.
I don't fact check, so I did not fact check. But Kelton fact checked these. So the first person I can mark off the list is Robert Nodell. Department of Social Services is not. And we can also mark off the Department of Social Services. We can say for sure it was DEI. That was the weapon. But we can mark off Robert Nodell at the Department of Social Services. So as you can see here, we've eliminated one department, right? So one department was not at the DEI conference on June 5th. Now, here's the rules. The first person to text me and can guess it right, you get a signed, I think you get a signed first edition copy of Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering Your Building After Online Attacks by the one and only legendary John Combest. One person will get that. This is the thing. Kelton, are we going to be able to, I'll put this up on my social media, the board. It will be at the State Fair. We are going to interview folks at the State Fair. So what I think we're going to do here is, Kelton, let's call two this coming week. Why don't you start with Ken Zellers and let's just pick, I don't know, Carla Esslinger. Let's just see if Carla Esslinger was at the DEI conference, right? And maybe what we might find is that no one was at the DEI conference. And it'll really be that'd be really anticlimactic, won't it, Kelton? Kelton, what would you say? Do you think we're going to scratch off every name and department here?
I have a feeling there might be one name.
I have a feeling there might be. We might actually award a winner. But this book that I think I can get signed will go to the winner of the contest, whoever can guess first who it is. But this will be here. Kelton, can we take this to the State Fair? Can we do it? Can we do a midweek update from the State Fair?
Possibly.
Okay. Do you think that if you reach out today, some of these folks have very, very good comms people, right? Very talented. I think if we reach out to a couple of these, we could confirm they were not at the DEI conference, maybe even by tomorrow or Thursday at the fair.
And not to jump the gun, I did a cursory glance at some social medias, and not the day of June 5th, but the day before, I think Chris Chin was here in Springfield giving a speech. So,
well, I tell you what we'll do. We're not going to ask. We're going to let this play out, and we're going to see. But as of now, this is what we want to get. Look, Kelton, we want confirmation here. We do not want to accuse people of this if it's not real. So we want to get confirmation on the clue board. And I was just curious as to see, and again, there's two rules of the contest. We are going to reach out. If you guess right first, you get this first edition copy that I'm going to try to get signed. If two people do it at the same time, I'm going to try to get my Real Farmers for Lincoln hat signed to you. Jackie Clark, no. Good guess. Wrong. But I like where your head's at. So I was just curious as to see, Kelton, maybe if we could do a midweek update. Tomorrow, we're going to be at the fair. about 11 to 3, 4, we're going to be bringing you. It's kind of like an F-150 tour. We're going to set up on the Midway at the fair. We're going to grab folks. I'm going to try to grab just some folks drinking a beer. Kelton, can we drink a beer during the midweek update at the fair?
I'm not opposed
It's
to
going
it.
to be hot. I mean, come on. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. It's going to be super fun. You're gonna love it. It's going to be great. I'm so excited about it. We're going to be able to interview people live at the state fair right from the Midway. I'm going to say, Kelton, you're going to call Ken Zeller. He's got a really good comms guy. Could you call them today and see if tomorrow we can mark Ken Zeller's off?
I'll get right on it.
And I tell you what, why don't you give me Wayne Wallingford? I'll try to see if Wayne was at the DEI conference. You see if Ken. Maybe we can do both. I mean, what an awesome day at the fair. We could scratch both off the list. Do you think you could? Because the OA has a really good comms dude. He's on his stuff. Could you reach out to him today?
Absolutely.
Good guy. I'm gonna reach out to Revenue, and we'll just because I know the person that does comms there, and we're gonna send a sunshine request. We want to get it locked down. We don't want to look. It's not clue. We're not making guesses here, right? We want to get confirmation that they were not at the DEI conference. I mean, would Scooby Doo and Shaggy and Freddie and Velma and Daphne, would they just go off a guess, Kelp? Would they go off a social media post the day before?
No, they need hard
No,
evidence.
they need hard evidence, and I need a Scooby snack. Your pal Detective Scotty is on the case. I told you once I got the election out of the way, I would be on this. This is our very own clue board, very prestigious. Are we getting guesses coming in? My phone's blowing up. No, Jackie, you can't guess again today. You only get 2. That's another. We're not telling the governor. So when you watch This Week in Missouri Politics Sunday, there's not going to be a bunch of talk about this because we don't want to tell the governor until we know, right? Because look, the governor has a lot to do, right? The job's pretty full. So we don't want to add to his plate. So we're not going to be talking about this on Sunday. We're going to be talking about this after we know hard facts. After we've eliminated, look, I respect a person that's a bit of a riverboat gambler. I played Clue many times. I'm actually excellent at Clue, if you want the truth. I have been. Some people have said I am West Butler County's greatest Clue player. I'm not trying to brag or put on airs, but that's real. So we're not going to guess and speculate. There'll be no speculation. By the time we open up the envelope, which I think can we make it like a brown envelope like on Clue?
I'm sure we have one line.
We could get 3 cards. That's what we're going to do. So I tell you what we'll do. I'll tell you what I'll do. When we know, we will take our Clue board and we will take the envelope to the governor's office. How about that? We will deliver this to them. How about that? That sound fair, Kelton?
Absolutely.
And we will show them we'll show them the pieces of paper from everybody that how we eliminated everyone on the list. And then I assume nobody was, right? I assume nobody was at the DEI conference, correct?
We'll have to get to the bottom of it.
Because I'll tell you this, I read an interesting tweet, Kelton. You might appreciate this. You know this guy, Kehoe guy?
Rings a bell.
I think he's got a future in state government. I don't know. I think that kid's going places. This is recent, July 30th, 11:59 a.m., so right before lunch. I'm thankful that President Choi, look at this. When we get this thing figured out, we're going to do the fight song. I'm going to be able to push a button and hear the fight song at some point, right, Kelton?
I'm working on it every day.
Sometime. So I'm thankful that President Choi, shout out to Governor Kehoe. And by the way, governor is how you talk to the lieutenant governor, right? That's just customarily how you address the lieutenant governor. Peter Kinder taught us all that. So big wave out. I got a confirmation for tomorrow. I do have a confirmation already sent to me in writing. We are going to be able at the state fair tomorrow to cross a name off this. This clue board is coming together so fast. I was hoping we could milk this out until like veto session, but apparently we're not going to be able to make that happen. What we are going to do is we're going to have. I'm going to read you this tweet from this Kehoe guy. You may have heard of him. I'm thankful that President Choi and the University of Missouri decided to heed my call. So he's saying Mike Kehoe called to eliminate this unnecessary division of DEI. The premise of DEI, which is essentially an anti-Kelton initiative, and all of the people that look like Kelton, except I wonder if you have beards. Does DEI apply if you don't have a sweet-ass beard?
I'll have to look into it.
Maybe it's just against bearded people. course, that would be against Jesus, so that's not cool, right? And I like Grant's Farm, so it's probably not. I think it's just you're a white dude. You're the problem. You don't think that anymore, do you, Truman? Nope, Truman doesn't think that. This Kehoe dude. Again, you may have heard of him. Used to sell cars around here. The premise of DEI undermines individual responsibility, and these types of programs work against the university's efforts to succeed in the workforce. In Missouri, we educate students. We do not indoctrinate them. We win cotton bowls. We do not indoctrinate. High five Truman. High five Governor Kehoe. So I would hate to be the person on this list that it was at the DEI conference, because there's two things at play here, right? Number one, let's just think this through for a second. Number one, there's a guy out there in the rain today swinging a hammer. You took his money against, I had never heard Mike Parsons say what this state needs is more DEI. Have you?
Not to my knowledge.
I have covered Mike Parsons closer than anyone in the state, and I'll just tell you, I'm going to step out on the limb, Truman. Would you agree that Mike Parsons did not say what this state needs is more DEI? Yeah, you're right, dude. Good job, Truman. Well, and congratulations on the Curtis Gregory win. Good for you. You had a big night. You have the likely new governor's, his biggest supporter's wife is on your board, and you have a former offensive lineman that's going to be in the state senate. That ain't a bad day's work, brother. Things are looking up for you. And I thought you and Dusty had things under control, but now, look at you. But do you think you get Dusty not to be a Cubs fan? That's really the only Dusty Schneider's issue out here. Really, the only problem I see at Mizzou today is Dusty Schneider's Cubdom. Yeah, I know. It sucks. Do you approve of Dusty being a Cubs fan? No, no one does. That's unfortunate. But other than that, good week for you, Truman. No DEI. You got the next governor's biggest supporter's wife's on the board, and you got one of your former offensive linemen. And I'm sorry, Truman. Truman, what you know? Curtis Gregory is a Cotton Bowl winner. Is in the state senate. And I saw him and his wife and his daughter at the fair last night. The fair is so great. I'm having to fight. I'm going to be there tomorrow, all day, night, and all Thursday. I'm having to really fight not going again tonight because it's just so great. It is a celebration of rural Missouri in its greatest form. I absolutely love it. So anyhow, I read you the tweet from Kehoe, right? We know what Kehoe thinks of DEI. We know what Truman thinks of DEI. We have our game here. So there's two outcomes here. Follow me. A, the person on this list took your taxpayer dollars. If you're listening to this in your truck driving home because you had to leave early because it's raining today, you're wet, you're tired, you've worked hard, the government takes too much of your money anyway. Kelton, have you ever met a guy that looks at his pay stub at the end of that week and says, I didn't give enough money to government?
I haven't met one.
No. And you know why they think that a lot? Because people spend their money on DEI type crap. That's one of the reasons. So now that, so either your money was taken, scammed, ripped off you, and went to a DEI conference on June 5th of this year, or one of these left-wing interest groups. Because it couldn't have been a state vendor. That'd be illegal. If you have a state vendor buying you trips, that's illegal, right, Kelton?
It sounds very illegal.
Sounds pretty damn illegal to me. We got to call Jesus Ostie. Judge Ostie, is this shit legal? That's really the question we need to ask. We got to get Jesus back in here to ask him if that shit's legal. We haven't done is this shit legal with Judge Jesus Ostie in a long time. We need to probably call and see if he can. Kelton, can you remind me to ask if this shit's legal?
I'll put it on my calendar.
Because I don't think I don't think a state vendor can just take you on a trip, right? Just a goof off trip. Can they?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I just kind of don't think that is the way that works, right? So
it doesn't sound right.
But anyhow, so let's assume either it was your tax dollars or it was some left-wing interest group, which again, I don't think that got signed off on by the governor's office. Do you think, Kelton? Do you think the DEI group got their permission slip signed by the governor's office to come and screw off at a conference?
I doubt it.
So then, and it couldn't have been a vendor, because that's just blatantly illegal. That's like you get hauled out of the Truman building and or MoDOT building and or on and on, whatever building the culprit happens to be in. If you've got vendors taking you on joy trips, I think that's not like you can't do that.
I don't think you
Jesus will
can.
tell us. He'll tell us if that shit's legal. So anyhow, this is we're gonna go one by one. I could confirm, Kelton. We will have one department that we could scratch off tomorrow at the state fair. How about that? How about that for
It's a good
service?
start.
I mean, come on now. Does the Lynn terrified Democrat give you that kind of service? I say no, not even. I think that the Dexter Daily Statesman deliver like that. I question. So we're gonna give you. We're gonna keep up, and let's take a few questions, Kelton. Let's open this up here. And remember, first person to guess correctly gets this autographed first edition of John Combett's book. Kelton, can we get a picture of the current scorecard and the first edition book? And we got to reach out and see if John will sign the book for us.
I'll get right on it.
All right. Let's look in here and see what's up. We have let's pop in our machine here and see all the folks sending us comments. The DMs are hot. I like it. No, I know what you were thinking, Anonymous, and wrong. Actually wrong. No one has gotten it yet. It's well, and I don't know. I mean, how am I supposed to know if they got it right or not? I mean, I guess what the honest answer is going to have to be, we're going to have to reach out. I'm not going to act like I'm doing it all. Kelton and I are going to have to reach out and confirm these one by one. Was there 17 or I don't know. I don't fact check. So, yes, Kelton, is there 17 on here?
That was my count.
Yeah, well, then go with your count. We'll take a few questions here before we get out. We got about 10 more minutes. Are y'all liking the Missouri history thing? I've enjoyed just reading and doing the Missouri history thing. It's been good deal. I'm getting like different departments pouring in here saying it wasn't us. But Kelton, I mean, here's the truth. We need material till veto session, right?
Yeah, we got a whole month.
We just can't scratch off everyone but one today. I mean, if that, my daughter is a good Clue player, and sometimes when she was younger, I could tell she had peeked at the cards because I would see her immediately go to town on her sheet, scratching. I'm like, now wait a minute, how did you know? You've only had two guesses in the same room. You can't be, you know what I mean? So, let's see. Number one, Keith Kirk, good dude from southeast Missouri. Campaign veteran, struggling with some medical bills. Really, really great guy. There's a link here on my Twitter account. I got a question. Sam Hamra. Look, I don't know his son Mike that well at all. I might have met him a couple times. I think I have met him once, but I don't know him on any level. But his father was a legend in Springfield, terrific businessman, known as Mr. Democrat. I did think it was odd that I had several people point out to me that they observed that there was General Ashcroft read a verse at his funeral. You had Roy Blunt came in for it, Billy Long, Peter Kinder came over, but there wasn't a lot of big Democrats here. That was surprising to me. Then yesterday was Porter Wagner's birthday. How about that? The rumors about Porter Wagner. So Porter Wagner didn't go to the war because he had He had an injury. So a third of the people in West Plains claim there's some kind of shirt tail kin to Porter Wagner because I guess he just stayed home and went to town. Great dude, great Missouri legend, amazing singer. Omar Bradley, obviously a little more accomplished, great guy. Then flipping down through here, I had one question. There was some advice given by Jennifer Bukowski that I thought was interesting that I retweeted. Someone asked me about this. Camellia on Twitter said, align yourself with people who are good conservatives, not people who think 100% like you, but the ones who have the same common goals and good, loyal people. Those guys do not always vote the same, but they're 100% each other's corner. If anybody agrees with 100% of the time, you're talking to a kiss ass. Just know that. That's not real. You don't have to hate people you disagree with. Like Camellia, she disagrees with me all the time. She's probably right, but I don't go back and forth on Twitter with that many people compared to what kind of incoming. But I do with her because I respect her and I like her. So The truth is, if I like you, I'm gonna joke around with you. If I don't, I'm probably just gonna ignore you. Um, so I like that. And Jennifer Bukowski came in and said she was on. I think she supported Ashcroft, who, by the way, I think it should be noted, his engineering claim was dismissed. I think the truth is, my observation of that was there's a lot of folks that were interested in maybe giving him grief. Um, it's just what I felt like. I felt like maybe people just didn't feel like he'd earned it like some other politicians had, and they were pretty quick to give him a hard way to go. I talked to producer Garrett down at KWTO, where actually Porter Wagner got his start, keeping watch over the Ozarks. On the Ozarks, is it keeping watch? There's a word I'm missing in there. We had a good chat. Then I got several questions about the Josh Hawley debate at Farm Bureau. I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard for me to get too stoked for that race until I see somehow it's going to be competitive. I don't. I think Josh Hawley does have the running away thing. The fist thing is never gonna touch him. But if he got caught in the wrong primary, I could see the running from the Republican-y people, or the rioters, or the goofs, or the right wing, or whatever you want to call them. I figure it's like most protests, right? Probably 80% of the people there showed up just to protest whatever there were legitimate reasons to protest, right? Then don't you think, Kelton, you probably had a few screwballs that get in there and they start agitating and breaking stuff? I mean, there's that. I mean, I think even at like a Black Lives Matter protest, most of the folks show up there to protest, and yes, it's annoying. And no, I'm not a protester, except unless there's a designated hitter protest, I would join that. I'm not a boycotter. I'm not a protester. Whatever that says about me is fine. Kelton, have you ever been so moved by something you went to protest?
I've never cared about anything in my life enough to protest it.
I know. Maybe we're the problem. I don't know. But I figure, like, I know people that go protest. Most of them are not there to burn stuff down. I do believe that. I also think it's hilarious that the media, when it's a bunch of people that look like Kelton protesting and they break something, violent protest, every murder is But if it's someone that does not look like Kelton, then it's mostly peaceful protest. They could burn down the QT and loot it, but it's mostly peaceful protest, right, Kelton? But if you happen to knock over an ashtray, these insane right-wing savages like Kelton Turner, white male, it is very... So I guess my point is, I do think there's a lot of that. I don't think most people show up to a protest to do with ill intentions. It could be that people get all together and get stirred up. I have no patience for you. If you're in the middle, much less hurting a cop. My God. What a terrific statement by the Ferguson police chief. You just have to listen to me. Whether you're a radical in Tower Grove in St. Louis or you're a radical in St. Charles County, you can never please the radicals, ever. They will never be pleased with you. Bill Eigel, if he'd got elected governor, half of those freaks would have been pissed off at him by St. Patrick's Day. You can never please the radicals. Their whole ethos is being pissed off. You will never please them. But I'll tell you what, go any scientific poll. I'll end with this. Radicals are going to radical. Friday is the inauguration of the dedication of the Blanchette Bridge. If you've ever left St. Louis and went to St. Charles, you've crossed the Blanchette Bridge there by the casino, by where the Rams practice facility used to be on the St. Louis County side. I think there's some serious people questioning whether the Blanchette Bridge maybe should just be taken out, right, Kelton? I mean,
probably not a horrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, but or maybe passports. You need passports to get across Blanchette Bridge. But anyhow, you will never please a radical, and there's two things this election cycle that should teach you. The radicals are loud, and I'm not saying they don't have influence. You just can never please them. There is no part where they're pleased, and I'll give you two examples. Twitter, oh my God, said Steve Roberts was going to get beat. There was no chance he shouldn't file. Going to get destroyed in his Senate primary. He ran against Cory Bush 2 years ago. 2 years later, Kelton, did Steve Roberts even have a primary opponent?
I don't think so.
And did Cory Bush get beat?
It sure looks like it.
And what weird statement. I'm going to come for your kingdom. What are you going to do? I mean, you going to complain because you did that when you're in Congress. I can help you out. Fewer people care when you're whining when you're not in office. That's just a fact. Look. I actually have met Cori Bush. I found her to be personally charming. I think it was embarrassing for St. Louis to just have someone saying just illogical things. And St. Louis doesn't embarrass easy, let me just tell you. But I'll be honest with you, it's just the St. Charles County folks looking in a mirror. There's no difference in Cori Bush and them. Just it's just a mirror backwards, right? Um, Shout out to Ann Wagner, by the way, who's recovering from procedure she had. Uh, it's the same. It's the same folks. I mean, they're just whiners back and forth. But she's out of office. So if Twitter or radicals really had the stroke that sometimes we give them, Kelton, would Steve Roberts be the one that's out of office today?
Yes.
And would Cori Bush be returning to Congress?
Also, yes.
But if you don't have, if the wag job's on Facebook, I think you might not have the influence because Steve Roberts is coming back unopposed. He's going to be 5 pounds heavier. He'll have had to do nothing this summer. He's been at the beach. He's been able to do whatever he wants all summer. Not only did you not beat Steve Roberts, none of you even filed against him. 0 filed against him. Kelton, guess how many people filed against Steve? Has said they were going to have an opponent. Guess how many whack jobs, Central Corridor, left wingers on Twitter said Steve Roberts' career is over?
Quite a few.
Guess how many filed against him?
I'm going to go with 0.
0's correct. I wish there was a prize on the line here. Not only that, was there 0 filed? He's returning, and the person they all worship, the god, the greatest enemy of common sense, their hero, Cori Bush, she got beat. Is it not the most amazing turnaround? If you ever needed, folks, Missouri, listen to me. From the plaza all the way to the Central West End, to the fireworks stands on the Iowa line, all the way down to State Line Truck Stop and Liquor Store in Neelyville, Missouri. Missouri, listen to me. The radicals, they sound loud. They do not have the stroke you think. If they did, Cori Bush would be going back to Congress. Steve Roberts would have been defeated and going home. Instead, he's coming back to the state Senate unopposed, and she's going home. The second thing is, you get to thinking it's just a Democrat problem. It is not just a Democrat problem. Missouri, please listen to me. Please listen to me. From the grove where the trees were cut down to start the honey war in North Missouri, all the way down to where they shot the movie Jesse James during the Depression in McDonald County. Listen to me, Missouri. The radicals would have you believe Mike Parson is not popular. But every single survey you could do shows his popularity amongst Republicans is over 80%. 80%. Motherhood is at 74. Apple pie's at 71. Mike Parsons at 85. It is a group of people who will never be happy, and they are very loud. But if this election taught you anything, they may be loud. How many millions of dollars were spent trying to tie Mike Kehoe to Mike Parson? Kelton? Multiple millions, right?
Quite a few.
Tell me again, who won that election?
Mike Kehoe did.
I think that's right. Mike Parsons, Lieutenant Governor. Mike Parson, while he does not whine all the time, he does not cry on Facebook. Thank God somebody doesn't. He's picked statewide officials, and they have stood for elections 7 times. Kelton, the last question of the day. Can you take a wild guess? Out of Mike Parsons, 7 candidates he's put up for the state of Missouri to cast their judgment on whether he did a good job or not. Out of the 7, how many has he won?
I'm going to go with 7.
And how many has he lost?
0.
So, freaks, I have a message for you. Scoreboard. And with that, we will see you tomorrow from the State Fair. This week in Missouri Politics Midweek Update. I'm so